Hello there everybody, my name is Yerdude, today here for my thoughts on the Titanfall 2 tech test. This video is not going to be the most well structured, I'm just kind of be going off the cuff listing. I'm going to start off with the things I'm not a fan of, but then we'll get into the more positive things. I just wanted to say first off, I've been enjoying playing Titanfall 2. I've seen some people be pretty lukewarm, which I guess I would say I do kind of fall more into that category instead of being incredibly hyped. There are some things that I really think need to be addressed in order to make the game the best that it can be. Well, first off, just the whole enchantment and the whole vibe of the original Titanfall is kind of gone, especially with minions only being included in one game mode right now, Bounty Hunt, which I don't understand why they're not in Amped Hardpoint. It doesn't make any sense. I just miss seeing grunts everywhere and hearing their chatter of their little funny quips from the grunts. Like, that was some of the coolest stuff ever, and it was definitely very different, and that was a big thing that separated Titanfall. And I think so far, from what we've seen, that's the main issue, is that they're trying to do a lot of things that make them more like the other shooters. They just makes the game a little more generic instead of what made Titanfall 2 different. Even the movement system now, it's still Titanfall, it still feels like Titanfall, it's just everything feels a bit heavier, a bit slower. Now apparently some people ran tests and it's just off of Rust estimates, and the speeds for the most part are the exact same, with the exception of wall running is a bit slower, and then also due to the FOV being only 60 instead of 70 like it was here on the consoles. The first game it was 70 FOV, this time it is only 60. I think that pretty much confirms that I will make PC my main platform then, because it just feels slow and looks slower in general, even if it's not actually. Another thing that I think hasn't really been changed, but a lot of people are talking about, is time to kill. I'm fairly certain it's the exact same, it's just that with everyone running amped weapons for their boost, and the weapons being crazy accurate with very low recoil at the moment, which I really think they should increase the recoil on pretty much every weapon. And just while mentioning boosts, I actually really like boosts. That's something that, while burn cards were fun, I mean, I kind of like Boost a little more. The two maps we've gotten to play so far, I think, are some of the worst design maps in the Titanfall series. I was actually doing a live stream recently, and in it, I mentioned that in the original game, there isn't really any maps that I hate. I have some favorites, of course, but I think that all the maps of Titanfall are solid. In Titanfall 2, I think these two maps would be towards the bottom, if not at the very bottom of the list. They're just not well designed. They're cluttered, they kind of play awkwardly. Some parts of the map just don't get visited because there's no point to go over to them at certain times. They're not that friendly to Titans, which I find kind of crazy because the name of the game is Titanfall. Also, I guess we're going to transition to Titans. Titans are a lot weaker than they were in the original game, and they really feel a lot more gimmicky instead of like a core focus of the game now. And just with also how long it takes to get them, and especially Amped Hardpoint, I'm just not a fan of it. I really wish they would add the Titan timer back, which originally, when I first heard that they were removing it, I was like, okay, so only skilled players get Titan. But even when I'm capping objectives and killing pilots in Amped Hardpoint, it still takes forever to get the Titan. And even in Bounty Hunt, where there is minions, I kind of even miss having the option of not having to kill minions and just kind of letting the timer be sped up by killing pilots and capturing objectives and while doing bounties in this situation. And for the game modes, I really do like Bounty Hunt. The biggest issue is the whole Titan wave. I don't like that. It kind of reminds me of Halo 5 Warzone, while you're shooting one enemy AI Titan, both sides are. I really don't like that. That's probably my biggest gripe with it. But everything else, the whole wave system, the banks, I really do enjoy it. I don't like that it's replacing attrition. I still really think that they should try to bring it back. I think there are some server reasons that they're not able to bring attrition back, but I mean, it was the most played game mode. I would think they would try their hardest to bring it back. Everyone loved attrition. Amped Hardpoint is a lot of fun. I just want to see them bring minions into it. And then pilot versus pilot, it is pretty hectic at times with the whole 8v8, and I think the spawns do get a little bit crazy, especially on Boomtown. I've really enjoyed playing that as well, and that just kind of does what it is, which is pilots only. Things that I do like is the new credit system. We still have yet to see how prestiging or regenning is going to work, but I do like that you're able to unlock things early using the credits, but at the same time, credits are used for leveling up, so I mean, I think that's a pretty cool system. And also with separate weapon leveling, I support that. The pilot weapons certainly need to be balanced a bit more, as right now I only really see the R01 and the car SMG, which I personally use a lot as well, because I think they're the two strongest pilot weapons in the game right now. Obviously, that's a fairly easy thing they could change at really any point in the game. I've seen a lot of people talking about the HUD. I'm personally fine with it. I like it. If people are saying it's cluttered, I don't think that at all. I really do like the HUD. It does still feel like Titanfall, as I mentioned, but everything just seems a lot clunkier, especially, well, with the FOV. I mean, everything does appear to be slower. I don't actually think it is, with the exception of wall running. But then, using the grapple ability, while I really enjoy it, I do get kind of frustrated. Well, it seems like sometimes I should be able to connect to things, but it says I'm too far away and I miss it, which is just incredibly infuriating. And also, I think the hitboxes should be a little more forgiving in terms of being able to connect to things with your grapple, because sometimes it's like, oh, it looks like I went over it by literally 3 inches. I thought it should connect from how far I'm throwing it away. I mean, just like little things like that I think would make it better. The grapple does seem to slow down momentum a little more than I would like, especially when you get stuck on things. My apologies for this video kind of being all over the place. But getting back to Titans briefly, the whole third-person executions and also entering them, it's a small thing, but I really don't care for it still. And the whole rodeo system, I'm actually kind of okay with it. I do think I prefer the original games, but it's not that bad. I think they should nerf it a little bit. It seems like you can kill the Titans too much, but I think that just going back to the Titans should be buffed in general as well. Another thing that I think takes away from the whole Titanfall atmosphere is the health bars appearing above pilots. I just don't think we need that. Some of these things, it's like, why? These are such small things, but it worked in the first game. To be honest, I think if they would have just added more content like they are in Titanfall 2, by the looks of it, but kept everything the same from the original Titanfall, I think this game would have been loved by a lot more. I mean, of course, maybe tweak a couple things, but not as much as they've changed in the game. I think that's everything that I have to say for now. This was definitely a very scatterbrained video. I might do another one after the second weekend of the tech test and do a more kind of planned out video for you guys. But so far, I mean, a lot of it did seem like I was asking for things to be changed and kind of complaining about things, but I am enjoying the game. I think it's going to do well. I am still kind of worried about the release date. I'm not going to say it, but I could see them still delaying it at this point, especially with all this kind of lukewarm feedback from the community. But we'll have to wait and see. I still think October 28th is definitely very likely. But just from a terms of sales perspective, I think it'll do well. It does definitely feel a lot closer to Call of Duty, which I think will kind of pull in more players from that side than it did before. But then it also is close enough to Titanfall right now that Titanfall players, for the most part, I think will enjoy it. It just, things could be better overall. But Titanfall 2, I've been having fun with it. I guess that's the way I could say it. But it's like, it could be better. My name is Geardude. I did a video talking about the community feedback over on Titanfall Legends, so if you want to check that out, please be sure to do so. But I'll talk to you later. Have yourself an absolutely fantastic day, and goodbye.